Let's go. We're live.
Wow, first time the five.
And you already forgot. You got to keep it close.
First time the five of us back
In a while, right?
in a while, back alive.
Yeah.
Still alive.
Well, the summer is almost over, so we're all back. Serie A has just started, and we're all back together.
I know. Mike was in Greece. We recorded a little something, me, Anto, and Pete Ukurt. But we didn't give our predictions yet because we said we have to wait until we see a couple of the games, but also until the Mercato closes. Which, by the way, is something that was on my mind. I really don't like football being played with the Mercato open.
Me too.
Am I old school?
I agree with that.
I don't like it.
I agree.
Yeah, but now it's time for prediction, and well, that's it.
No, not yet.
When does the Mercato close?
September 1st, right, Pete?
September 1st
Yeah.
closes. So so it's been open for a couple of months, right?
July 1st officially.
July 1st official. So I was just thinking about that. In fact, I make some notes, and I said, why does Lukaku, Chiesa, Koop Meiers, Lookman, Nico Gonzalez, why don't they have a team?
Kalulu.
I mean, the Campionato just started, and these guys are some of the best players, and they don't have a team.
I hate it.
I don't like that.
I hate it. It kind of ruins teams. I was looking, for example, Atalanta, when they played against Real Madrid. Atalanta started their season, okay, Scamacca and Scalvini were hurt. Then they're going to lose Koop Meiers. Then Lookman now wants to leave. El Bilal Toure just left. I mean, the official games have started, and you don't even know what team is going to play. There's got to be something done, right?
I agree.
You're making faces.
You had 2 months. You had 2 months to get this done. Okay,
Wrap it up.
Just do it. This guy, and I don't understand. I think, Pete, and hear me out. If the Mercato would have closed last Sunday,
Yeah.
things would have been done last Sunday. But because it's September 1st,
Correct.
they wait until the last, right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
wait
that's
until the
correct.
last.
Let's change the rules,
That's
guys.
it's
Leverage.
negotiation.
Let's change the rules.
Hold on. I think Mike disagrees. Let Mike...
No, I don't disagree, but I do see both sides to it. It does feel like kind of strange how you would think that the Mercato finishes other than the season starts. You would think that would be like more traditional kind of thing. But if you play a little devil's advocate, it's an advantage to all the teams saying like, okay, we played a couple of games for the Campionato. Maybe they're not as finished as we. Maybe this team's not as finished as we think. Maybe I'll get another midfielder that I needed. Maybe I'll get another attacker that I needed. So
I feel you got to sort it
test.
before. You have preseason
sides.
games. You should know what your team looks like.
It's different though. Preseason.
I don't
and
like
the
it.
actual
I'm just saying I don't
Campionato
like
is
it.
different.
There's something about it that sits with me the wrong way.
Listen, Mike, you know that Napoli needs a center forward, right? Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Right now, they're playing a game because the Campionato is still open.
Yeah. Anyway, why don't we start? We got a lot to talk about. Match day 1. We're all back, like we said. Why don't we start with Juventus, who we all just sat here and watched the game. It was like old times having you guys here for a match. It was nice.
I'm here all the time.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we know.
He's here by himself somewhere.
Where
See that, unfortunately.
Isn't your room right here?
What?
So
Don't you have a room here?
He sleeps in the corner.
He's paying around.
We take it out of his
Not
wallet
free,
without him
not
realizing.
free.
Utilities not included.
This is like a nursing home for us.
Basically.
Assisted living.
Assisted
I call
living,
it for
yeah.
Antonio.
Pull the plug. Pull the
They
plug.
have,
my God.
Yeah, they have doctors on premise. They have everything. You know?
Yeah, the doctors. Anyway,
Pull
let's...
the plug.
Who's the doctor?
Listen to the guy.
Who's the doctor,
Fuck.
D?
No.
Oh,
On the
okay.
mic, on the mic, on the mic.
Okay. Oh, I thought they said pull the plug for the assisted living, so they let him die.
I think that's what it
No, I
meant.
don't think that's not what I meant. It's open to interpretation. Let's just say it like that. Yo, Juventus looked amazing. I know it was against
they looked
Como, newly promoted, whatever. We saw a lot of teams struggle. Your guys' teams, they struggled. Juventus under Thiago Motta, I think they made more passes now than they did in years under Max Allegri. They were playing football. There was some different changes, some new players, the next-gen players integrated into the squad. But I like the way that the team played, and I like the attitude that even when they scored, they kept going forward. They kept trying to do stuff. And the player that you and we kept looking at, Yildiz. We could agree, disagree about the number 10. I didn't really want him to get the number 10. But man, is he a player. Every time he beats his man. How impressed were you of
this guy is the real thing. I really did not know him that well, and when he played last year, was always like a forward, so he got the ball. But now he starts. Sometimes it's on the same level as Vlahovic, but a lot of the time he gets the ball and he's 30, 40 yards from there. And he's got a vision like I haven't seen in a while. He can beat his men all the time. this guy is the real team. He's got the skills. He's got the smarts. He's very smart. He gives nice assists. If he wants to go by himself, he can go by himself. This guy, which I didn't think is the real thing, and I saw it today. I know he was playing against Como, but you could tell the guy's got everything on the make to be a number 10.
And Bangula also started. He's the kid from the next gen, the Belgian kid that I never seen him play, honestly, before today. He scored on his debut, brilliant goal. What impressed you guys about Juventus?
To be honest with you, this is the difference between Juventus of last year under Allegri, when Yildiz used to come off the bench many times, and this is Yildiz take a leadership role. He's been given a number 10. He's been signed for a long-term contract. The kid has got the confidence. He plays for the Turkish national team. This kid has got the all menu from the breakfast all the way to the dessert. He's got the whole thing. He's got it.
That word was menu, not menu.
I was thinking menu for a second.
No, well, anyway.
I don't know what the hell you were saying.
But anyway, he's got it. The kid's got it. I think it was a great idea. And now Chiesa is going to look more marginal than we already knew that he was already for this.
Not even called up.
Team. So,
not called up. McKennie got brought back into the team, not to play, but he was on the bench. But Chiesa's still out with the contract stuff, and I'm telling you,
I feel bad. I feel bad for Chiesa because I think he could have still find a niche in this team and make Juventus a lot more deadly than what it already looks like. Juventus looks like a team right now. I mean, we know it's against Como, but the team seems to be having an identity that is
immediately,
typically, the Thiago Motta identity. Not a lot of ball passed back, not waiting on the midfield and then a counter. The team is a different team. So that tells you go from coach A to coach B, everything has changed.
The way that they won the ball back quickly, too. When they lost the ball was amazing.
Just under Motta, first of all, when there was rumors before Chiesa left Azzurri to go to the Juventus training camp, a lot of the newspapers were saying, Motta said Chiesa's not going to be part of the plans. Or like, oh, no, that can't be. They didn't even meet up, blah, blah, blah. And then they actually met up, and it seems like he's kicking him out the door. And me especially, I know a lot of people were thinking it too. They're saying, oh, you're going to kick Chiesa out? He was the only spark for Juventus. But now I don't want to say Chiesa, whatever about Chiesa, but if Motta's backing up his play, yes, it was against Como, whatever the case was, but they looked great. They look like a completely changed Juventus, and he's doing it with a lot of youngsters. Something he's done with Bologna, and he succeeded. So Motta's showing right now that the season with Bologna wasn't a fluke. He can really get the best out of these players, even without Chiesa.
I don't believe the Chiesa stuff. I don't believe that Thiago Motta doesn't want Chiesa. I think it's similar to McKennie and similar to Sule's situation, where we know the financial situation of Juventus. Everybody that has a price tag is listed. Chiesa and Juventus are not agreeing on a renewal price. He wants more amount of money than what they want to give him, and he'll leave as a free agent. So they said, listen, we have to set a line in the sand, kind of like what happened with Milik and Napoli years ago. You either sign a renewal or you're not part of the team, or we try to sell you right now so he can't join Inter, for example.
So it's just financial, you're saying?
That's what I believe.
So you don't think nothing on the field?
You know why? Because there was the same rumors about Sule, and then Sule came out saying, Thiago Motta told me that I was part of his squad. He wanted to keep me, but Juventus made a decision. They cashed me out, and Thiago Motta told me not even for 70 million would he get rid of him. So that's why you never know what
So you were saying
believe.
that before the whole thing is said and done, Chiesa might be being reintegrated into the project?
No.
But if he lowers his expectation, it comes down from 6 million from 8 million to 5 million, 6 million. Maybe he's going to say yes.
Yeah,
hey, if McKennie from outside comes back in, why can't Chiesa do the same thing?
3 days ago, McKennie was not training with the group. He was training alone, and now he's back in the team, and apparently they say he's ready to renew his contract at the terms that Juventus want.
Yeah, and ultimately it comes down to that. Chiesa having one more year left in his contract, this is the only time they can cash in. Juventus are looking at it as saying, hey, we didn't win with him. We need to change up what we got. Thiago Motta's got a whole lot of new players coming in. So this is the sacrificial lamb, if you want to say. This is the player that has the most value, that we can get the most money, and then start a new chapter. So I think Chiesa, even on this team, would be very, very dangerous because the way that Thiago Motta plays, Chiesa also not one that just, is lay out in a sense, that just is focused on the attack. He's proven to come back and defend, and his work rate is very high. So I feel like he can definitely fit into Thiago Motta's plans, and this is more of a decision by Juventus. One thing I would say about this game, obviously, versus a Como opposition who, although coming up from Serie B, is also a very new squad with a lot of different players. So there's going to be an adjustment period. But with Juventus, I would have thought this adjustment period would have come a little later. But we see that the players and the team is listening to Thiago Motta. And even some of these decisions that we saw, in the starting 11, I think it's a clear indication that Thiago Motta is going to put the best player that he sees go into this lineup. No one has, their seat at the table. You have to earn it. You have to work for it. And, this Juventus team, especially in the midfield, looks very, very strong.
Do they need coal miners?
They do.
I think yes. Ultimately,
Locatelli.
No, but it's besides Locatelli. I think ultimately, if you look at the wingers, I'm sorry, with Weah and what's his name, the guy that just scored, Mandula, they're not going to get you where you need to go in Serie A or even in the Champions League. So you need to have some substance, some players that can come in, and now all of a sudden the opposition is afraid. Because right now, again, we have to keep everything to perspective. They versed the Como.
Yeah.
It's the first game. There's a lot of positives. I think also it's, in a way, it's a message to Inter, to Milan, saying, hey, Juventus are ready. So you got to step up your game.
Gaetano, can I ask you something before you go? What makes you think that with the parameter that Chiesa he commands or he demands too, that anybody in Serie A will be able to sign it? Because I was drooling at the idea that maybe AC Milan can use this guy here.
Zlatan said your mercato is closed.
Well, not quite. We have a
He said unless you guys sell players.
He told Anto something else apparently.
Well, listen, I have insider information.
What were you going to say?
Listen,
Don't you think that is for Serie A? Nobody can sign him for the amount of money that this guy's demanding?
every team can use Chiesa. I think Napoli could use Chiesa. Roma could use
Milan
Chiesa.
can use him too.
Milan could use it. But what I was going to say is this team, if there's something that I'm a little bit disappointed, is that this team is not ready for Champions League. Okay? You want to get ready for Champions. This team is ready for Serie A. I think with this team, whoever you have on the bench, you're good for Serie A.
Yeah.
You're not good for Champions League. So a little criticism to Giuntoli that he should have had Koopmeijer. If the project is Koopmeijer, get Koopmeijer on the team. If Chiesa is not part of the project because you didn't agree on the salary, and now you need the money from Chiesa to buy Koopmeijer. Get this thing done. And the other thing is, on the bench, there was not even one forward. If Vlahovic would have gone out, there's not one forward on the bench. And a team like Juventus, they should have somebody on the bench to replace Vlahovic.
Yeah. Let's see what happens. Positive start, I would say, for Juventus. If I was them, get coal miners. Keep Chiesa, and then you have a front four of Yildiz, Koopmeiners, Chiesa, and Vlahovic.
Oh my
That's
God.
a team that fights. And defensively, you're getting Kalulu because you still need a defender within that squad. And then from there, it should be good. Where do we want to go next? Should we go Inter?
Yeah, let's go to Inter.
Inter first, 2-2 draw against Genoa in the opening game. Little surprising. They got the penalty in the end. I mean, Inter played well. Just a lack of concentration. Is it that?
Well, first off, you're playing in the Marassi. Genoa was always tough. Gilardino's team we saw last year, when they face the top opposition, they give you a run for the money.
Without their three most important players.
Okay,
year,
but
Martinez, Retegui, and Goodmanson, all
the
gone.
First game of the season, you're still versing Inter. It's still Gilardino that's coaching this team. So, yes, you're missing the sparks. But let's look at the goals that Genoa scored. They were both on, mistakes by Inter, Sommer, and then a penalty. So, going forward, they had some chances, but Inter overall were the ones that, kind of had these self-inflicting goals against.
Yeah.
And that's what ended up being Inter's demise, let's say,
So
in
not
this
worried.
game. The only thing I would say as far as worrying part is just the lapse of concentration. And you're Inter, you're going to have the Scudetto badge. People are going to come for you now. They did already in the past, but now even more so. Juventus has rebuilt a squad. Milan has built a nice squad. There's teams that are going to be pushing for the Scudetto, and you have to be up to par. There's no more, we did it, now we can look to another objective. No, the next objective is to continue being the best, being on top. I think, looking at our forward, I like Taremi when he came in. Thuram obviously scored 2 great goals. Lautaro's going to get into the swing of things. Midfield-wise, we look good. I just think, the center-back position, obviously we had, the younger Bisek playing. I don't think he's the all-around starter. I do like Pavard, obviously, in that position, and I think it changes the dynamics of this team when you have your starting center-backs. We talked about Bastoni and his comments about, the season kind of being long and not having enough of a rest time. But ultimately, these are things that's what it is being with the top team. You're going to play a lot of games. You're not going to have as much time off. And it's unfortunate, but these are things that everyone is dealing with. So something I maybe
you need a defender. You want
I think we need another center back. The reason why is because we have Acerbi and De Vrij, who are both aging, and so we need somebody that's going to come in that we have something to look forward to.
What about the right wing back?
Right wing back. Listen, it looks like Dumfries is going to be there. Darmian does a solid job as a Jolly.
I guess
so. I'm not so worried about it. I think. Sure, we lost Buchanan, who would have gave us some spark off the pitch, but who are you going to go after right now, especially with no money?
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing.
Pete,
no, but we didn't spend any money.
Position. You don't need to spend money.
Antonio,
You stuck
please.
up at every position.
Here we go, Antonio.
Stop complaining. No, you're crying already.
I'm not crying. I said we need one more position. That's all I said.
What do you need? I'll give it to you.
I just said
a
center back. Yeah.
All right.
So that's how I see it overall. The thing is, you got to step up your game. No matter what, you got to win these games, and it's okay. It's the first game. It's Genoa.
Real Madrid tied their game against.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
There's still a long way
So
to
you guys
go.
on the same level as Real Madrid, basically.
Does anyone have fears about this Inter side?
Nah.
I don't see them as confident as they. I'm serious. You're facing Mike.
One game.
Let me tell you something. You ask a question. Can I answer the question?
I'm waiting for the answer.
I don't see that.
You don't see it.
I don't see
There's a
Inter
lack of
that
motivation.
confident. It would be motivation, number one, and number two, that they think that they are invincible, or nothing is going to be, nobody's going to be challenging them in the Campeonato.
That was your problem
again.
the first 2 seasons under Inzaghi.
You just say
It
something.
was motivation in small games. The lack of concentration.
Lack of concentration, I would say.
You need to fight more this year than last year, because once you get to the
Right.
top, everybody comes after you.
gotta
So if you don't fight and if you're not hungry to stay up there, you're not going to make it.
Marco, the simple fact that he's just starting to say it, that we have a lot of games, that we have to play a lot more games, this is already throwing, just putting the horse ahead of the carriage, saying, hey, by the way, we have a lot of games, a lot more games that Juventus is going to be playing, that AC Milan is going to be playing, or that Napoli is going to be
Ancelotti
playing.
said the same thing, to be fair.
So, well...
The horse
Shouldn't
the horse
be
is always ahead of the carriage.
I was thinking that.
What did I say?
You said the horse.
Before the carriage?
No, you said
Yes,
the horse.
ahead of the carriage.
Doesn't matter. That's what I said.
He's saying
That's
it's
the point.
always the horse is always in front of the
But that's
carriage.
what I'm trying to
You're
tell
supposed to say
you.
carriage.
The carriage before the horse?
No, over.
Like,
Say it in Italian.
It's not an Italian saying. It's not an Italian saying.
This is an Antonio saying.
Inter to me needs a little
Gotcha.
polishing, with a
Gotcha.
little Windex. I said, hey, get the rust off.
Are they Greek
and
with the
get
Windex?
dust off. Yeah.
What a Greek team.
Windex.
Leave the Windex to the Greek.
I think it's just it's the first day. We shouldn't look into it. It was more of Inter shooting themselves in the foot rather than Genoa doing anything.
Fair.
Some are huge mistake. Other than Bisek, another
Bistek.
another
Bistek.
stupid mistake with a handball.
Steak.
Yo, credit
It's one game.
Credit to Gilardino. I can't imagine how difficult it must have been. He stayed with Genoa. It seemed like they had an agreement on the Mercato on who they were going to get. I did the numbers. 63% of Genoa's goals last year came through Retegui and Goodmanson.
Big
They were
loss.
absolutely crucial
Big
for a
loss.
team in their first year up to the Serie A. They did amazing, finishing in 11th place. And then to lose those two guys just now, you still find solutions. I think he is... he represents the ideal coach, the ideal modern young coach who is finding solutions
Who
instead
adapts,
of complaining, adapting to what you have. This kid Vitinha, by the way, looked great
good.
in the attack for
That was the last
Genoa.
year. That was a signing from last year.
He's a really good player.
Come on.
He looked great. So credit to Gilardino and to Genoa for that. They're going to be good again this year. Let's talk about Milan.
Let's finish up one more thing. I wanted to say, me and
else?
Mike, we were watching a game about with Inter, and Inzaghi, when he came back from the locker room, he started with a nice shirt, button-up shirts and all the stuff, and then the second half he was drenched because he was livid what
hot in
he
Italy.
was watching. When I was
That's why there's
But he
water
came back-
breaks.
he
Some
came
people
back
don't
with-
believe in that.
He came back with a polo.
Hey,
So
switch
what?
shirts.
And
What's
then
wrong with that?
Short sleeve.
You switch shirts when you play
He got
football in
a
the back.
yellow too. He got a yellow. He was protesting. He
What are you
jumped into the
arguing?
field.
That he's
I am
sweating?
What's your point?
You should not
that he
sweat.
sweats?
I agree with you. You
Fine.
shouldn't sweat.
You shouldn't be sweating.
shouldn't be
If you are
sweating.
the Inter,
That's ridiculous.
you're not supposed to be sweating. Okay?
How can you sweat?
I know you were sweating at the end of the Milan game.
Oh,
I know I was not.
you were.
Ask Mike. I
Gotta
was not
switch your
sweating.
shirts.
yeah. So
You
Milan,
switch something else.
the mutanda.
Translation. No translation.
No translation.
We got AC Milan.
Let's talk about Milan.
Let me just go to AC Milan. Go ahead.
Let's start it off. Let's lead it off. First 30 minutes, brilliant from Milan. Questions in the starting 11 with Salamakers as a left back. Still seeing Calabria
That was
as a
weird.
right back to me is incredible. Jovic didn't really touch a lot of balls in the first 30 minutes, but I love the way that Milan did the counter press right away, trying to win the ball back, winning it up in the field. You saw Fonseca's style a little bit, Pulisic playing as the 10, and then Torino score, who were absorbing pressure, waiting. They pick out their moments. Zapata, the new captain of Torino, scoring brilliant goals. Amazing from him. And they go up 2-0. And then the substitutions gave Milan a little bit of life. Morata comes in, changes the game. Reinders comes in. Teo Hernandez comes in. And if there was a couple more minutes in the match, they probably would have scored a goal. And Musa, by the way. Musa came in, did great. Okafor.
Yeah.
Okafor has scored
Okafor
7
is-
goals. 6 of them have been off the bench for Milan.
And
So-
all very important goals. Where those are 3-pointers.
But why did
technically.
Milan have to wait so long? They could look like Marco said. If there was like 5 more minutes, they
Mike.
definitely would have. They sent everyone. It was like a hail mary.
Mike,
They played so well.
this is the deal. Fonseca
What's the deal?
believed, or he's making us believe that the 6 or 7 of those bench, that the people that came off the bench,
Yeah.
the player, they were not ready. They didn't have the 90 minutes on their legs. So I'm gonna give it to him that. But now, starting from Sunday, I don't want to hear any excuses. You go over there, you're winning every game. I don't want to see what Pioli did last year.
win every game.
You're
We
in
have
for a
to
rude
win every
awakening.
game. I don't want to see Pioli said, "Oh, we have the cup game coming up. We have this now. Go in, win the game, go 2-0, 3-0, and then you bring the bench in." I don't want to see any calculation done with what's coming up on the schedule. This team here is being made to press, to grab the ball, and to score a lot of goals. I wanted to see Leao. I saw Leao some positive vibes about him, because now all of a sudden Leao
Positive
is coming back and defending.
Positive vibes only.
Leao is coming back and defending. He's listening to Fonseca, because I guess the language is the
He's
same.
listening to the podcast, what you said.
He's listening to the podcast.
Not me, you say it.
Yeah,
I guess the
and
language.
then he got unlucky. He said he got unlucky 2-3 times in front of the goalkeeper. He didn't convert. But I'll tell you what. Today we could have been talking about AC Milan winning against Torino, because we deserve to win, regardless of the comeback.
You're on the back foot.
Who cares
already
about
against Juve,
deserving?
buddy.
You either
Yeah.
win or you don't. That's how it
Hey,
works.
do I look worried?
And
to
that's
you?
why Juve's
I'm not
on top
worried.
and Inter
You
Milan
look
are
worried.
not.
I'm very calm.
Listen, the pressure is on you. You have the repeat. We don't have the. You have the repeat. We're not repeating.
He's good.
Okay.
He's good. I don't care what you say about Antonio. I don't care if you agree or disagree.
Hey, that's it.
He's quick.
Stop laughing.
No water breaks.
But that doesn't like the water breaks. It doesn't get the insight.
By the way, Anto, do you need a water break? You're sweating.
I am.
Change
Hey,
your
Does he
shirt.
deserve it?
Change your
Fine,
shirt.
we
No,
need a little
doesn't do it.
conditioning.
Change your shirt. The AC's on.
This is like a sauna, this place here.
So, did you guys like? I didn't like Chukwueze, the game that he played, even though in preseason he played great. And Pulisic as the 10. Any thoughts on this?
Pulisic played well. He played well.
I mean, they had 5 or 6 new
chances.
players, right?
Yeah.
So it will take a little bit of
Yeah.
a while to adjust the chemistry. You know,
Who's
they have
new?
to. They had 5 or 6 new players from last year
Who's new?
on this team.
Who?
Not starting, probably.
Yeah, on the bench,
Well,
also, right?
look, Salamakers, we knew we got it from Bologna, but
Okay,
he
yeah,
did the
Salamakers, we give you
preseason.
Salamakers.
He did the preseason.
Okay, but
with,
Theo did not start.
No, none of the starters started.
Yeah, but it was not new players that started. It was one
Reinders
new
didn't
guy.
start. Reinders didn't
No,
start
he
the
didn't
game.
start.
The only one on the middle was Benacer and what's his name, and Loftus-Cheek was a starter.
Yeah, everybody else was on the team.
Yeah, pretty much.
They didn't always start together, but you know,
Yeah,
shout out to
Salazmaker.
Morgan.
I guess Salazmaker.
Salazmaker, yeah, fair.
I would prefer
And different
to be hon-
positions.
In all honesty to you, I wanted to see Gabbia as a starter.
Calabria starting right
Anto,
back.
let
Is that
him say what he has to say about Milan.
Go ahead.
So it's going to take a little while. Also, Fonseca, the new coach. So you got to give him a couple of games for them to get together. But I think from what I saw here when I went to see AC Milan against Man City, I liked what I saw. The team was very short. The team was very aggressive. They put a lot of pressure. A lot of the things that he did, I liked it. So I think at the end, on the long term, AC Milan is going to do good.
Yeah, I believe so. Because listen, even if we had that squad a bit Manchester City, we will have just take Bologna. We'll have cremate Bologna, believe me. But
Bologna.
excuse me, Torino. So I'll tell you what,
But you
we
didn't.
have a team, and we have a team that already has embraced the mentality of the new coach. Fonseca immediately has shown that AC Milan, it's forward going. It's not
You drew
backward.
versus Torino.
Okay, so the thing is
Relax.
with Milan.
Torino's got a good team. Torino's got a good team,
But
Mike.
you're saying all
Before-
this stuff, you guys.
Vanoli is
you
not.
guys almost lost the game.
No, we didn't lose.
Yesterday's game, Torino beat Milan 3 out of the last 5 matches.
That's what I'm saying.
Torino's been. I'm not saying anything about Torino. I'm saying this Milan team, although still we haven't seen the new
It's early.
acquisitions coming in. You know, the problem with Milan has never been going forward. They score goals.
Exactly.
Your
The
problem is
defense.
defensively.
I know.
Exactly.
And there has been a lapse. There was 2 lapses, right? Because even the second goal was really poor by Milan. How they allowed that second
Chao
goal.
and Theo.
Back
No,
back
Chao
and
and Theo.
forth.
Not even
Yeah.
Tomori.
Chao is going for I don't know where he's going. He's stepping up and then he's leaving Theo. It was a disaster.
It was very poor. So that's where we're going to see, is Milan good enough to hang, or are they going to be more like last year? Because I think defensively is a big problem. But, you know, we have to see, obviously, Emerson Royale, who should be the right back, because Calabria, with all due respect, has got to be on the bench, and this Pavlovic, how he fares. But
And we have
defensively,
Gabbia still.
and
We still have
Gabbia
Gabbia.
as well. So defensively is where I see this Milan team having issues, and they need to fix it. If they fix that, then I say they're solid. And then one last thing I would just say, I like Morata, obviously, the way that the team will play around them. But to replace Giroud, you need somebody that's up top that scores those dirty goals.
Yeah.
And Milan does not have that, because Jovic is very much a Morata type player who's going to come in, receive the ball, look to play off.
I felt like
off the
Jovic
man.
was like not involved at all.
Listen, Pete.
No.
We have weapons.
You have no
on every-
9.
We have weapons on every position. Even if the defense is questionable, quote unquote, this team here with Fofana and Reinders in the middle right there, then you have Loftus-Cheek. Those are players that are like concrete. If you just run into them, you're gonna just fall off.
But you only change it for
Let me
Fana.
Against
just
Torino.
say something to you. We are an attacking team. We're going to be playing offensively. And it's going to be a lot less chance for the defense to get stressed out. The defense is going to be resting in this team. Not like last year. This defensive team the defense that we have on AC Milan right now is going to be just taking a vacation on the backside
Milan's-
over there. We are going to press and we're going to overwhelm the opposition. We're not going to give them the chance to think with the ball on their feet. And you're going to be one of them.
With Milan versus Inter in the past,
Yeah.
Pioli's issue has
Yeah.
been he has not been humble in his approach.
Right.
So a lot of times the Milan has been pushing and pushing, and they would let in 2-3 goals like if it was nothing.
Pushing
So this
doesn't
is-
mean pressing. Pushing doesn't mean pressing. This guy here,
Back, buddy.
we're gonna make a what do you call it? A
Salutatore.
cheese sandwich with you guys. We're gonna make a cheese sandwich. We're gonna be pressing to the point
Yo,
that you're
Gaetano,
gonna.
That was
what
that
happened to
Italian
this
saying?
guy?
Yeah. What do you call that?
Take a water break.
Call it? Instead of a cheese sandwich, what's the name
A
of that thing?
cheese sandwich? A
Grilled
knuckle
cheese?
sandwich?
When they have
Grilled cheese?
grilled cheese, that's what I meant. A grilled cheese sandwich.
I still don't get
A
it.
grilled cheese sandwich.
A knuckle sandwich would have been better.
You're on top
I don't
of
know,
it, I guess.
Swiss cheese maybe.
No, Swiss cheese is not for us. It's grilled cheese. When you have two
Feta
pieces of bread, you put the cheese inside,
What kind of
Gotcha.
cheese?
and then
What kind of cheese?
What kind of formation is that?
American cheese.
So grilled
American
cheese.
What kind of formation?
What do you make? 4-2-3-1.
Oh.
I would do
4-3-3.
Honestly, I think 4-3-3.
4-3-3.
4-3-3. Fofana, Reinders, Loftus-Cheek.
That's
Forget
it.
about Chukwueze, and you play Morata with
Pulisic.
Leao on the left and
And
Pulisic on
Pulisic
the
on the
right.
middle.
That's it. The 4-2-3. I like the overload of midfielders in the box, and you let Loftus-Cheek be the one to go forward. I like it better. But either way, solutions on top of solutions. Let's give credit also to Torino because Vanoli has a really great story. First match in Serie A, he's got to go to the San Siro, which is not easy at all, with the Torino side who also lost Buongiorno in the back. They had the guy Coco who played a good game. Ricardo Rodriguez also lost, leader of the squad. This he built up Venezia last year. In a year and a half, he took over Venezia in Serie B when they were second to last place, got them promoted, built up young players, never really complained, dealt with the difficult situation. Now it's his first time going into Serie A after working with Ventura in the national team. He was assistant also with Conte at Chelsea. He worked in the youth system of the Italian national team for 7 years. And I just want to give a little bit of love to him. And it was exciting watching his Torino side. Torino have the opposite problem of Milan, where last year they had the fourth best defense in the Serie A, but the fourth worst attack in the league. So it'll be about him unlocking the goals for this Torino side to hopefully finish above where they usually are and push for a European spot.
But they
They're not gonna do it.
They
They're
did
not
have
gonna
good
go European
attacking
style.
play though. I give them credit too. Pretty much a new squad, and they gave Milan a run for their money. They had a bunch of chances that they missed too. That if that went in the back of the net, Milan wouldn't have got any points. But
Milan misses a lot of chances too, by
no,
the way.
I get it, but I'm saying
Okay.
you can't compare Torino with Milan either, right? A Champions League team.
Well, chances are chances.
I get, but you also gotta compare.
Mike,
how
we
they
know
are.
that you love AC Milan. Look
Sure.
at that. You win
I'm,
red and black.
I'm giving my credit to both
Yeah,
sides.
I
I
like
said
that.
Milan would have won if there was more time.
So
But you gotta
because
give
of the
credit
colors
to
that he's
Torino.
wearing, it means he supports Milan. Red
I
and
don't
black.
think so.
He didn't
But
fall
he's
for
wearing
it.
red and black.
I don't know. It just that was the first shirt that he found on his house, and then that's what he put
He's
on.
getting smarter. Shall we talk about the
You don't
disaster
realize.
of Napoli?
Oh my God.
3-0 loss
Oh.
against Verona.
Oh, boy.
Antonio Conte, if he was not mad before, he said they melted like snow in the sun after the first goal. They went the first half. They were not playing amazing, but they were dominating the game. They had the chances. They had three good chances from the side. Verona had an XG of 0 in the first half, doing nothing. Kvara goes off, and then all of a sudden, the first half gave life to Verona, and they came out completely different than they did in the second half, and Napoli fell apart. Conte already, he took the blame, to give credit to him. I thought he was going to go off. And I think what we've learned and what he said is it's more than just the mercato. It's more than just missing Romelu Lukaku in the striker position, although it was very evident after watching the way Simeone plays. I like Simeone as a sub, but he is not a starter for this Napoli side. Conte's teams, the center forward is too central. It's too important in the way that his teams play to have Simeone, who he checks in for the ball, his touch is bad, and then he doesn't allow any of the players to come in behind. But what do we make about this disaster class, Mike?
And also Conte, this is the first time as a Serie A manager, Conte did not win his opening Serie A game. And even before, we posted a lot of stuff about Conte saying how not ready this team was and how unconfident he was. And it's very unlike Conte to say stuff like that. It seems very strange because he's always one saying that we're going to be hungry, all this, gives all the credit to his team, saying we're going to fight like dogs. But with this Napoli side, I don't know what's gotten into it, or a lot of back end stuff that we don't know. But he sounds like a whole different person, and it's so strange. And the performance that you saw, I guess it reflects of what he's been saying, because he's been saying a lot of crazy stuff, like I was saying. But losing 3-0 to a Verona side? Like, there's got to be more to it than we don't know.
Usually you get that Conte after year 2, year 3, where he's got
Not the
issues.
first, right? How insane
Don't
is
start.
that?
Don't.
But Anto, it's
Listen,
crazy.
listen. Gaetano
It's a
said it well.
3-0 to Verona.
Gaetano said it well before. You have the situation with Osimhen that is 1 foot in, 1 foot out, with the luggage already ready to go. He already is checking in, whichever plane he's going to take. The guy's not
I don't
moving.
think he knows.
The guy is not moving
What does
from
that have
there.
to do, though?
And then it's when you have a team that is not formed already, and you know that you lack in the forward, because that's what Napoli is lacking right now. Simeone is not the starting 9 for Napoli. I mean, it's not an excuse for you to lose 3-0 against Verona, but nevertheless, hey, you haven't got the team together. You've been in Napoli for over a month right now, right? A month and a half. You have you're supposed to have the squad all ready to go. It's not that Napoli was playing a lot of pre-campionato. He was doing a lot of tours around. Conte had the squad with him from the very beginning, except for a couple of players. The only question mark is this Osimhen. That is, we don't know. We still do not know.
I think he's questioning a lot of the players and saying that he doesn't see that same fire that he's seen at other teams where he expected a sense of revenge. Napoli went from winning the Scudetto to 10th place, and he thought there's a core players, because 9 out of the 11 players in the starting 11 were part of the Scudetto team. They didn't always start at the same time, but they were part of that team, and he thought maybe they would have this fire, and I think he's scared that at this first sign of difficulty against Hellas Verona, they sort of crumbled. What'd you guys make of it?
But didn't they sign Conte just because of the fire that he brings into the squad? Where is the fire?
I think with Conte, he's come to a point where he's maybe a little frustrated because he's waiting for Lukaku, he's waiting for certain players, and he still hasn't been able to get it. Until Napoli figure out what's going on with Osimhen, it seems like it's going to kind of stall a little bit longer. Even though I think eventually Lukaku will go to Napoli.
We don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. Defensively, Juan Jesus is not a starter. I think they even saw
what a disaster.
they saw Conte going over to the assistant and speaking. They got his the verbal on him, saying like even when we have an 8 versus 2, everyone goes after Juan Jesus. So Buongiorno's supposed to come in and change that defensively, but the biggest thing is the character of this team. So Conte, might not always play the greatest football, right? But he wants these guys to be vicious, to go after every game as if it's the last game they'll ever play. So that's one thing that I think he still needs some time to change a lot of the character of these players. And to be quite honest, some of these players are not of Napoli's level. De Lorenzo, for me, needs to step up big time, especially after the Italy national team.
Sure.
And he needs to do that. Mazzocchi is not a Napoli player. I'm sorry, with all due respect.
No shot.
He should be, if anything, on the bench. And, players like Juan Jesus and stuff are not going to make a difference.
Well, they better get Lukaku soon. Otherwise, by next Sunday, Conte is going to be gone. So get him some players. I guess he's going to start crying. He already started crying. But I think that Napoli, there's a lot of pressure. I mean, these guys play a Coppa Italia against Modena. There were 50,000 people. There's so much exciting around Napoli. There's so much passion around the team. And, there's a lot of pressure. So these guys, they better get their act straightened out. I mean, if I was Napoli, get it done. This guy Osimhen, sell him for, whatever you're going to sell him, and get Lukaku and get Chiesa. Chiesa is, can you imagine Kvaratskhelia, Lukaku, and Chiesa on this team? They would be going for the championship. I'd like to see Napoli very competitive. We need Napoli to be very competitive.
It would be good.
Yeah.
It would be good.
How much is still the demand for Osimhen? How much money
They want like over 100, but there's no offers. My problem, there's another thing. How we said that the transfer market needs to end early. This thing with the players, that they're forcing their move and they're not training with the team and the club might sell. It's a disaster. Train with the team. Because now, let's say Osimhen doesn't get sold. Let's say he stays at Napoli. Now he wasn't in the in the plans the entire time. He hasn't been working with the team. He hasn't been working with Conte.
I agree.
And it's a step backwards.
Yeah, it's a risk.
It doesn't help anybody. I get the balance of power, and this happens in certain situations, and with Chiesa and with it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all for the players. And maybe as an agent, you have a different perspective than me, and players are holding a lot more power these days. But I just think it's self-destructive because right now, Chelsea doesn't want to pay for Osimhen. Arsenal doesn't want to pay for Osimhen. PSG doesn't want to pay for Osimhen. The only team you got is Napoli.
I don't think PSG is getting Osimhen, period.
Send them to Saudi Arabia.
I think that's the only option that he
It's
has.
not good. It's not good. It's not good. It doesn't help.
What are you saying,
And
Pete?
guess what? If you sit on the bench for another year, you think the team's gonna want you for the value?
Oh, it's difficult. But the thing is, it has been created by what exists already. Like even from the Bosman rule with free agency, that's given the agents and the players the opportunity to let the contract expire to then make as much money as they can with the salary because the team is saving on the transfer fee, and even the agents at time are asking for whatever price they want when it comes to a commission payment. Then when it comes to these situations like Coop Miners, like Osimhen, unfortunately, when the players want out, it's very hard to maintain the player at your team, just because of motivation, because of so many different things, and more importantly, the money lost. Because a lot of this is based on financial fair play. So if you're buying Osimhen, let's say even at 50 million, you need to sell him for a profit because it's going to look really bad on your books. So you don't have the luxury to say, okay, Osimhen, you're going to just sit on the bench and whatever, because then the next year, either the team doesn't want you or he's going to come at a really bargain of a price. So, these are just things that there's a back and forth. The thing with Osimhen also is, obviously the asking price could be whatever it is, but ultimately there's a negotiation that's going to need to undertake. So you could ask for 100, 125, whatever, but he can probably get sold for 75 if that's the only offer on the table.
It's a mess. I just think there's something broken at the football level with UEFA, with FIFA, with the association that needs to be changed because it's at a crazy point right now. Anyway,
Marco, listen.
Topic for another time. Let's finish off with Atalanta. I think that's the last team that we need to talk about. They won 4-0 today against Lecce, and Lecce is never an easy place to go. I remember them put you guys in difficulty a year or two ago in the first game.
Tony was there.
Yeah, you were there, and I think Lukaku scored actually in the last second. So I guess it was 2 years ago.
2 years.
4-0. Retegui first start, 2 goals already for Atalanta, and then the crazy story of Brescianini, who he was taking his medical at Napoli. Napoli couldn't sell Caiuste. He went to Atalanta, who apparently gave more favorable terms, and he scored 2 goals as well. And he was in, I think, Peter, we were talking about it, in a more advanced role.
Yeah. That's interesting because, first of all, they got Scamacca because they got Scamacca. They got Retegui because Scamacca got injured, unfortunately got an ACL injury, and he's going to be out for the majority of the season until he comes back. And they were targeting him. He came in, scored 2 goals, which is something that you want from the striker to replace it, so already off to a good start. And Atalanta did it without Lukman, who's been one of their star guys last season, who he's on his way to PSG now.
Another guy that's annoying me. I don't get it. I don't get this. Atalanta is a competitive team. Every year steps up to the plate and does more challenges. You look so happy in a place, and then you're forcing a transfer. You win. This was a year for me that I thought, and I was going to ask you guys if Atalanta could take that next step up in Serie A to push for the title if they kept all of their guys.
They're taking a step back now.
But why?
Let me bring something that is very key to this conversation. AC Milan has got Benacer that is on the chopping block. On the chopping block because we don't like him. We love Benacer. But he's going to bring a lot of more money. We have a lot of midfielders that we bought. Now we got Fofana. We got a lot of other players. And now we have this new kid that Ibrahimovic wants to sign. Okay, Kone. So Benacer is being sought by the Saudis. He's going to go to play in the Saudi Arabia.
I haven't seen this.
Right?
Have you seen this? I haven't seen this.
Yeah.
I thought we're talking about Atalanta.
Yeah, I know.
So what is the
we're
point?
talking about Osimhen is being used
Forget
by
about Osimhen.
excuse me.
Lukman.
Benacer is being used by.
Lukman.
I'll tell you what's wrong with you guys.
Forget about Benacer.
Lukman.
Lukman.
Shut up.
Is the horse in front of the carriage?
Benacer is being used by AC Milan, even
breaks.
though he's been rumored to leave from AC Milan. Okay, that's what you have to do. Put Osimhen and put him on the field.
But we're not talking about Osimhen.
Doesn't matter. Look, man, put him on the field. Put him on the field.
That's not how it
You're
works.
getting paid.
That's not how it
Got you.
works.
Put
Can
him on the
Atalanta
field.
challenge?
Can Atalanta
Can Atalanta
challenge?
challenge?
No.
No.
I think it's going to be hard. More importantly, because you know at this stage you lose if you do lose Lukman and Cup Miners. Very
And
hard to
Scamacca.
replace. Scamacca, okay, they got Retegui,
I know,
so
but
I'm not
still.
saying he's a like for like, but
Oopsie-daisy.
they were able to get him. That's my biggest thing. So I saw even Percassi came on. Luca Percassi said our objective was not to lose anybody, and how they can potentially lose two of the best players. So it's an issue.
Sucks.
So it's a step back, and that's what it is
you
for
think, you think they can
Atalanta.
compete?
Not with those, not without those players. You know, not with those. I mean, they'll be up there, but it would have been nice to see this team
Fully loaded.
Yeah, because it would have been good. It's good for Serie A, you know, to have these players stay in Italy and
And
play
Europe too.
and play.
They were brilliant too.
Yeah, you know. So
the
it's-
producer
it's-
named Zaniolo. Zaniolo could be
Zaniolo's
this
still not healthy.
hidden gem.
But he's he's
Listen,
not
never
ready,
underestimate Gasperini. Gasperini has shown us a year,
Just might be too much.
If they had the full band together, they made
Yo,
a
if they
pack.
kept everybody?
They had Zaniolo
My
there,
gosh.
Retegui also. That would have been a
My
tasty
gosh, look,
team
man.
to watch.
Oh my
Especially in
gosh, I wish
Europe,
Cominers-
Gasperini would have been pulling.
I would have
forwards.
loved it.
But now you can't really blame them. They're losing two huge players from last season, and you're scrambling there trying to replace them with younger guys.
And I
So you can't really-
get that
you can't fault them.
people will say, yeah, but they're really good at replacing. I agree, they're really good at replacing.
you're
But if
still
you
taking a
want to
step
really
back.
win,
Exactly.
at one point
You
you have
gotta
to build
keep
with the
them.
group, and you can't keep rebuilding. Let's talk about Lazio too. I forgot. Lazio beat Verona when they were down 1-0, and then Venezia. Sorry, excuse me, Venezia, and then Venezia. I could tell that you were probably going crazy. The center back, class, man.
No. To tell you the truth, I didn't see the highlights and I didn't see the game.
Oh, okay.
Oh, better for you. You're gonna save some
Venezia.
hair.
It's one of those passes back that
Venezia's
you like.
center back. Well, he was trying to dribble out of the back, and then Tati Castellano stole
He
the
stole
ball.
it from him.
Boom. And then from there, Lazio went back to normal, and they won 3-1 under Marco Baroni, another coach, kind of like what I was mentioning with the others, that deals with problems really well. If you think about the miracle that he made with Verona last year, I believe it was 12 players they sold in the January Mercato, 6 out of 11 of their starting 11, and he managed to keep Verona safe and out of relegation with all these new players. He integrated it the right way. His style looked pretty good for Lazio
looked
in the
good.
beginning.
It looked good.
A little bit more efficient, effective, everything with purpose, going towards goals. And then Noslin, amazing in the 1v1. He opens it up with the penalty kick that he earns for Tati Castellanos. I loved him. And then there was this number 7 that I didn't know going into this, Nigerian player, Dela Bashirun. I still need to read his name because I wasn't aware of him before. He stole my eye. I mean, I could not watch him. He was brilliant going forward from the midfield. And once again, they find a way to get these new players. They got rid of Immobile,
Felipe
rid of Luis
Anderson.
Alberto,
Luis Alberto.
Kamada.
Felipe Anderson. Too.
And maybe it's not the project that we wish, because I always said they finished second place. We wanted them to try to push and to keep going forward. It's sort of starting from zero again, but it wasn't a bad starting place.
Yeah, pretty good. And you were saying for Noslin, he had a great season at Verona, and now hopefully at Lazio, this jump starts after the first game. He's gonna do good. But for me, I want to give credit to the coach also. I want to see how he does with his Lazio side. He's a coach that kind of scopes it to his playing style. He's not scared to adapt. He's not scared to give chances to the youngsters, or maybe not the big names. But I want to see Tati Castellanos, because I was never a fan of him. I don't think he's a real number 9, but he got the goal. Got to give him credit. I want to see if he can last the season being the starter there, because losing someone like Immobile last season, Castellanos, I wasn't a fan of, but maybe this season under Baroni, maybe he'll do something.
They got
different.
Bulaya Dia coming in.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, the best
didn't he get called by
In
Argentina
Argent- he
national
did get
team?
called up to Argentina.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did. He
Today
did.
they got announced.
So listen.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Listen. Baroni was coaching Lecce, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years ago.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yes.
Okay, 2 years ago was coaching Lecce, and then he went to Verona. Baroni is not a coach that that you can underestimate. I think he's got his numbers and his schemes all nice and set up on his head. So I think this team is not going to challenge the champion, the position of the champion, but it can
Top
end
five.
up top 6, 7 again.
Oh, okay.
They're going to do it. Top 6 or 7. Hey, they don't have
So no,
anybody.
so no improvement from last season.
It's not a non-improvement. They lost everybody.
They went through 2 coaches last year. I mean,
They lost just about
Sadi left, and then Tudor had the disaster where he took over in March, resigned 3 months later because he wasn't happy with the Kamada situation and Lotito. So I think Lotito also found his ideal coach in Baroni, who clearly he dealt with problems at Verona. He's going to deal with the problems of selling players at Lazio. Yeah, I know you said you didn't see the game. Also for Venezia, they have Di Francesco as their coach, who disappointing relegation he had with Frosinone.
Right.
It's etched into my memory. The moment where he saw Frosinone go down, and he must have been so confused because they really weren't in the bottom 3. And then in the last day, they had a 55%. Actually, I think it was Empoli had a 55% chance of going down. Yet somehow Davide Nicola saved them. And he must have been thinking, I always tried to play the right way. I integrated the young kids. We played a good style. They challenged the big dogs, and they went down. And now with this Venezia, I know they were missing a lot of big guys. They missed Busio. He wasn't there. Testament situation is another nightmare. And then they have the striker, who I can't pronounce his name, the Finnish guy.
I can't pronounce it either.
Do you know how to say it?
Polajan or something like that. Polajan.
Polignano is in Italy. Is in Bari.
Is it Paulo or something
Yeah,
like that? I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Finnish is a difficult name.
I think he had 22 goals for them last
Paulo.
year in Serie B. He also was not available, so they're missing 3 key players. Hopefully, the Testament situation gets fixed. Nicolussi Caviglia is signing; he'll probably be their replacement. But I wonder, they look more ready than they did 3 years ago when they first came to Serie A. But can you really get away with this
it's tough.
style of play as a Serie
It's
B
tough.
team? I don't know.
Last thing, a little doubt about the Roma. I don't know
We forgot about Roma.
you know what's going on with Dybala. He was going, everything was done, and then I see him on the field playing. So I hope that he stays. I mean, it would be good for Serie A if he stays with there. I think with Sule, they can make a really, both of them Argentinian. Probably both gonna end up in the national team. It could be a good, nice combination. And any comment on the center forward?
Dovbyk.
Yeah.
He was not good.
I mean, he missed the crossbar. I mean, on a
He made
beautiful
more
cross.
fouls, and his touch was bad. I expected something different.
I mean-
for the La Liga top goal scorer, I know it's his first game.
Yeah, La Liga
I
and
expected
Serie A
more.
is 2 very different leagues. Serie A is much more defensive and tactical oriented in the back.
I didn't expect that, though.
Dude, it's also the first game.
Listen,
That was a bad
Give it
first
time.
game
It
from
wasn't
Roma.
bad- it wasn't a
That
good
was a
first
really
game,
bad first
but-
game.
if Dybala stays with
Let's
Sule
run.
and Paredes, I didn't see him starting at all. He didn't play at all with Roma
Are you
yesterday.
nervous about your Roma?
But you need a center forward.
Yeah.
You need the guy.
Whatever, give him
He's gonna-
time.
I'll
give
tell you
him
what,
time.
Dovbyk is going to be fine. I'll tell you.
I think
he's
he'll
gonna
be fine.
Are we nervous about De Rossi?
No,
Are we
I'm
nervous
not.
about De Rossi?
Depends what happens with Dybala. I put all my chips in for that one.
I don't think it's something to be nervous about. I think last year
did good.
He did well, and
the beginning.
you come into a team where they needed to have this spark and just a change of mentality. That's difficult, but yet is a different task. Now when you have this team from the beginning, you do the full preseason. You have this team from the beginning. They know already how you coach and think they get kind of comfortable. Let's not forget, players are humans.
Right.
It's like this is they're going to work. This is their boss. This is how they see things. So De Rossi, I think, is going to be okay, but he's going to come up with different challenges that he didn't have from the year prior, and we have to see how he can adapt to it.
Well, he had 2 center forwards last year, and now he's got this guy that we don't even know how he's going to do.
You don't have a good image of him at all.
I mean,
I was really
he
disappointed.
scored the most goals last. He needs a little time to adjust.
I don't know.
too early to
I don't know
tell.
the player, so I have to
gonna do
find
well.
out. But if he doesn't have a center forward, he's not going to do
Yeah,
well.
okay, of course.
And if he loses the ball, he better get kissed.
And what about Abraham coming up only 5 minutes before the end of the game?
Abraham's not part of De Rossi.
Yeah,
I think he made it-
Tammy Abraham was a
I think he made it clear.
full of grace.
You know what I was
from that
impressed
amazing
with
season.
Roma?
I mean, Juventus should just sign him.
Marco.
They need a backup center forward.
Marco, the new position of Zalewski. I like to see Zalewski.
Did you?
Yeah, I like it.
I don't like it. Honestly, I find it hard to find any positives from Roma.
Jesus.
Really,
Mike,
Cagliari,
because
guys,
Alessio played
the game that Cagliari played, they were suffocating them in the beginning of the match. Cagliari was all over them. Luvumbo, our boy Luvumbo. Oh my God, he's a handful. He's so difficult
Where was he playing before?
Angola.
He was there.
He was there.
He was there, Cagliari.
Angolese.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good player. I'm telling you, this Cagliari under Davide Nicola, I liked it. I liked the way that they started the season.
They're just
Taking
gonna have
Valuable
to be
point.
No,
Valuable point.
David Nicola is the savior when it comes to keeping a team up.
Yeah.
Cagliari didn't spend any money; they have zero money, and they're just gonna deal with.
Thanks for that, Pete.
They're just gonna deal with
Thanks for the map.
being the underdog, and they're gonna scratch
Forza
and-
Sud.
try to climb up.
Usually he's not as good though when he has to start a season.
Yes.
So where do we see Roma end up at the end of the season?
6 or 7.
They won't be a Champions League
Six
spot.
or seven
I don't
for
see
the
it.
bottom.
Dybala stays,
No.
if Dybala stays, I can see Roma challenging for the 5th spot on champion.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would agree with
If
that.
Dybala stays
It's hard
5th,
to-
Top 5.
it
Okay,
depends.
5.
It's
I'm a
hard.
little
You gotta wait
nervous.
after the Mercato.
I'm nervous for Roma.
What does nervous mean? What place?
There's a question mark about Dybala. There's a question mark about
Abraham.
the center forward, the midfield. I don't know. El Shaarawy. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of.
Just
I thought they were going to
random
come out of
names.
the gate and play. Maybe my expectations were a little bit too high for Roma. I said, "Oh my God, they don't see preseason. He did so well right away. This team's going to look
Cagliari
great."
kept them at bay, man.
That's what I'm saying.
They
Svilad was the only
neutralized
positive.
them.
I could say Svilad. Svilad looked great.
how long does he, Marco, Abraham, how long does he have on his contract? 2026 or
I don't know.
2025?
They're trying to get rid of him like any way possible.
I would pick him up. If he's
Milan, we're looking at him.
let me ask you
Yeah,
something.
yeah, he's better than
Guy,
Jovic.
If it's healthy, I like to. I
That's a
like
He
big
goes
if.
back to Milan.
That's a big if, buddy.
Anything else, guys, from this Serie A?
The only thing is we want to see Fiorentina where it's going to go with Goodson.
Goodmanson, yeah.
Goodmanson.
I think they did well.
That's
They
a good
got-
buy. That's a good buy.
It's more direct.
And where's
Defensively
Nico?
delicious.
Where's Nico Gonzalez going?
Probably
He's going to-
Atalanta if they lose.
Maybe
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Probably Atalanta.
Well, Juventus has been rumored to.
But now,
Yeah, but
if
Lukman
Atalanta get the money,
they lose Lukman.
they lose Lookman,
Then
they
they
lose
can-
Cup
they can
Miners,
spend the-
boom,
yeah.
they get Nico Gonzalez,
they
which
get it.
I don't.
But is he?
I don't like. I love Lookman. I don't want Lookman to go.
But even if Nico Gonzalez
they-
goes, how much
love
of a how much? To me, I don't think he even covers the same thing Lukman does.
Well, Lukman comes
And
from
you-
the left hand side. Nico Gonzalez is more a center right.
I mean,
the
Gasperini
wi-
will find this
But they're
solution.
still
I'm not worried
wingers
about
regardless.
that.
But you're bringing in another winger to replace Lukman when I don't think Nico Gonzalez is nearly as good as Lukman.
I agree with you.
So it's gonna be like,
I agree with
They're
you.
two different players, Mike. It's nothing to do being better
Fiorentina still need
worse.
midfielders too. And defensively, same old problem. I mean, I cannot believe that defensively they always look so weak.
Why would that goalkeeper from Man U go there and sit on the sit on the bench?
interesting move, right?
Yeah, why would he go there? And say,
As
He's
interesting
gonna
as
start. He'll start.
as interesting
start.
as Joe Hart going to Torino that time.
but Terracciano is not doing. He did well last year.
Last year he did great.
He's not as good with his feet, is what I read, and that Palladino wants to
To me,
go for
Terracciano
I
is a
can
good
see that.
goalkeeper.
Yeah,
better
Yeah.
with his feet, but still defensively. And then the guy that they signed, Pongracic,
Oh, yeah.
got a red card.
You got a record.
And
So
15
I
million
saw
from
that.
Lecce. Martinez Cuarta, I don't know. Martinez Cuarta, his numbers look great because he scores some headers, but I'm still old school. I want a defender to defend. I want my defenders to
So
be really good.
Milenkovic is gone.
Milenkovic is gone.
So
Bye.
Oh,
Bonaventura gone. Nico gone. A
Yeah.
lot of
They
big
got
players for
Amrabat back,
Fiorentina
though.
lost.
Amrabat is a good, Amrabat is supposed to be a good midfielder. Listen, Bonaventura, with all due respect, excellent player, but his age came.
Bonaventura and Nico Gonzalez were the only ones with class in the team last year. Colpani looked good. Colpani's a good player. I like him. But it always feels like one step good for Fiorentina, one step back.
Yeah, exactly.
You get Colpani, you sell Nico Gonzalez. You get Pongracic, you sell Milenkovic.
So like Atalanta, sort of.
It's always, but at least Atalanta, they build
But
a
not
little
this
bit
season,
more.
man.
Those teams, they are like you said, maybe 6, 7, 8 place. They hang around 6, 7.
Fighting for conference.
We didn't say anything about Bologna, by the way, since
I was just
Italiano
about to
was-
say.
Oh,
yeah.
go ahead, Mike.
No, but I had it here just in case we forgot. Bologna lost a lot of key players. Their coach, they look good. They tied against Udinese, but they look very good. And to me, I thought they deserved the win overall. They're starting off with a draw against Udinese, not so hot, but I think they're obviously not going to go top 4, top 5 this season. But I think they're still going to be pressing for a European spot.
Bologna?
I feel like Italiano found the same problem that he found at Bologna. They did at Fiorentina.
Yeah, it's the
Can't
same.
finish your chances.
But there's a lot of if you see
It looks like Groundhog
if you
Day.
saw the game,
No,
a lot of quality.
But
a
that's
lot
how
of
Fiorentina
chances.
games were, bro. Fiorentina games. How many times did I watch Fiorentina play, and then they come away with a tie, and I'm like, how in the world did they not win this game?
I get it.
You know,
73% possession, a million crosses, but then
the difference between
They saved the penalty too.
we want to
they
compete.
conceded
And
right
they conceded
there.
on the corner. I'm like, oh my
Sorry,
God.
what were you saying?
No, we want to compete with the other leagues. We want to compete with Premier. We want to compete with La Liga. And these teams like Bologna and Atalanta, they play in Champions League. You got to keep the players.
the pressure high,
You
yeah.
can't just sell, your best players. You're going to Champions League. You
gonna look
need
bad.
yeah.
But Gaetano,
You need
is
to
the deal.
keep these players.
Now Bologna, how are they going to do in Champions League?
Gaetano, is the deal.
I'm scared
In
about
Italy-
that.
It's going to look bad for Serie
Not
A. From the
Listen,
rest
This
of
team
them.
is like barely competing in the Serie A.
Yeah,
We're
that's
talking
what I'm
about
saying. That's what I'm
top
saying.
five.
Marco, in Italy, we do not have the money to be able to retain some of those players because immediately the pressure comes from PSG, from Bayern, from Real Madrid, from
Milan.
Barcelona.
It's just
Really,
annoying.
anyone from Premier League.
Bro, it's
But
annoying.
if you want to compete,
You got to
hey,
keep them.
You have to pay. Can you pay a salary? You don't want to sign Chiesa. Chiesa is the best player that we have on the national team. We do not have the money to sign Chiesa on Juventus. You're telling me Juventus is not Lecce. It's not one of those scrappy teams that they just come from the Serie B. Juventus has got money.
but
Sign him.
I don't think it's a problem with money.
It is the problem with
think
the
it is.
money.
It's a fact. It's
Absolutely.
definitely a factor.
Sign them
Gaetano.
up.
I just
man.
definitely
you know what the
Don't
annoying
complain
you know
at
what the
the
annoying
end.
thing is we do so well at building up these talents and
Calafiori-
putting them in the
Calafiori's gone.
spotlight,
Yeah,
right?
Calafiori.
Like Zirkzee, for example. Oh my God, brilliant player. We know
Scores for Man
we know
U.
forever. Then he scores one goal for Manchester United, and now all of a sudden he's the best player that ever existed.
That's
It's just frustrating.
That's
It's
just how it
frustrating.
works.
Yeah,
When you,
that's how
it's
it
all
is.
about market, right? So why does a player in Italy cost more than a player from Belgium? It's because he's in a different market. And it's the same thing when you go to a Premier League. The last place team in the Premier League makes 100 million just with TV rights. Not even
that to Serie A.
the Scudetto winner does not even make
make
100
that.
million.
But
Okay?
why can't we change the rule,
It's
Pete?
not about changing the rules. It's
Fix
about
some settings
the
or something.
package. Serie A nearly didn't even have a home in in America because of not getting what they want as far as a TV deal.
You have to change the rules for us.
Yeah, change the rules.
It's your fault.
It's not about changing a rule.
Didn't
It's about what-
Bournemouth spend 45 million? They just spent 45 million on that guy, on the Brazilian guy.
Yeah, Bournemouth bought. Don't forget also.
What Brazil?
Was Zaniolo? No.
Yeah,
they
Zaniolo.
bid for Zaniolo.
Yeah, they got
They
Zaniolo.
bought
What's-
what's his name? Ex Atalanta, and then went
Oh,
to Fiorentina.
Freuler? Oh.
No,
That was Nottingham.
what the hell's his name? No, I'm blanking on his name.
They just signed the player. I think he's from Brazil, and I think they spent 45 million on him.
Evan Nielsen.
Yes.
35 million.
Is he Brazilian?
He's Brazilian.
Yeah, so the Italian teams can't even. Inter can't even buy a player for 35
Oh, they got
million.
Huijsen too. So
Yeah, you expect Bologna to
Remember?
spend that money? They're not going.
15 million. Araujo from Barca, 10 million.
This is Bournemouth that just
This
came
is
up.
That's what I'm saying. But,
Years ago,
but
right? They came up?
the difference is that.
crazy.
And
Another
you guess
17
what? We
million,
want to
20
also
million.
point at the players, but I want to also point at the owners.
You're right. You're right.
Because the owners, they're running this like a business. It's no longer Moratti, Berlusconi,
They wanna
Agnelli
cut costs
that
as
put
much
the
as they
money.
could.
Now they're looking at it as a business. If a player is going to make money, everything is about
Bottom line.
sell on, the financial clause, all this other
Profit.
stuff. So this is not just the agent or the player. This is the whole ecosystem that has changed. It's private equity that have come in, and the idea for private equity is to make money.
Pete, I understand when a team like
You
I
talk
don't
about
know.
Milan once.
I understand. Thank you, Mike. I understand when a team like, I don't know, Bologna or, I don't know, Cagliari or Como or Lecce, we are talking about AC Milan, Juventus. Those are multi-millionaire, billionaires. Even Commisso with the Fiorentina. Commisso, they have money. You should be able to
FFP
retain-
ruined a lot too.
You should
business.
be able to retain.
FFP has hurt a lot of these teams. A lot of our mid teams that don't make crazy money, they're like
And compete.
stuck.
Yeah,
they're
of
stuck in
course.
this level where you can't just invest whatever you want. Otherwise, you're gonna get banned by UEFA.
Right, because we have the limit,
don't
we
have
have
the
this,
money
we
if
have
they
that.
wanted to.
You know,
But I'm saying if you had a rich owner that wanted to spend,
Yeah.
Como's the richest owner. Como's owner is richer than Manchester United, Arsenal, and Chelsea combined.
And Antonio combined.
$50 billion.
Thanks, Mike.
50 billion. We'll throw you in there too. $50 billion.
And everyone in the studio
But he can't sign whoever.
Former top 10.
There we go.
They can't buy it.
From the
Whatever.
bottom.
This is a deeper issue. Anything else? If
I
match,
thi- listen, They wanted to leave, let them go. Serie A is going to stay Serie A. We're going to
Money
challenge
talks,
again.
Anto.
We're going to challenge again. We're going to get brand new players, brand new talent. Hopefully, enough young talents to be able to plug inside the Italian national team.
That's
we
it.
got Camarda on DC Milan. We have a lot of youths and talents ready to. They're sprouting already, little by little from the bottom.
Sprouting.
Right now,
The germinating.
they're germinating. The growth can be
Like a
How
nice
is
oak
it?
tree, right?
That means it's gonna just
Somebody make a meme.
Fly.
It's gonna just break the ceiling very
Excellent.
quickly.
Love it.
Thanks.
And we didn't talk about Parma Fiorentina.
We talked about Fiorentina. Parma was really good.
Parma, for newly promoted, not bad for them. And
Bernabei,
Fiorentina,
Dennis Mann, Boni, good players.
Fiorentina is a front line, man.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, rate us with 5 stars. And as always, we'll talk to you soon. Ciao, ragazzi.
Okay.
And Forza
Bari and Cassano.
and Casano.